A marking gauge is very handy in the workshop. I wanted one with a round cutter, so let's have a look at 3 ways of making one. The first way is thanks to Paul Sellers, a simple block of wood with a countersunk screw that has had its edge sharpened using a file. It is easy to make and easy to use. Just screw the screw in or out with the screwdriver to get the distance you need. The only real downside is that you can only do relatively small distances with it. But it is micro adjustable and works a treat with minimal effort and time needed. My second option is to use a washer as the marker, which again you can sharpen on one edge. I used my lathe, but a power drill or a drill press is just as good for this purpose. The washer was fitted to the end of a shaft that I recovered from an old cartridge gun. It is handy as it already has a thread and nut on one end. I drilled a hole in a scrap piece of hardwood and used a threaded insert for the locking mechanism and a hole perpendicular to that for the shaft. I 3D printed a knob to make it easier to adjust, but that is just a bit of icing on the cake. I used a bench grinder to take the ridged tops off the shaft to provide more flexibility in adjustment. It works well too. Being intrigued by the options available, I decided to try a third model. This one I placed the threaded insert into the face of the hardwood block and used a longer M8 bolt as the shaft. I bought a cutter on eBay. To attach the cutter to the shaft, I used my metal lathe to drill a hole into the end of the bolt and tapped an M4 thread so I could attach the cutter. You could drill this using a bench drill or hand drilled. Locking is done by using an M8 hand nut with a through thread. Just back it off and wind the bolt in and out and then lock it down again. This allows for micro adjustment because each flat on the head of the bolt is very close to 0.2 of a mil movement at the cutter face. I cut numbers into the flats with a jeweler's hacksaw to facilitate fine adjustment. Unfortunately, the cutter head is more suitable for wood turning, and so it is hard to get a fine, sharp line. I am searching for a replacement cutter for this marking gauge that will give a better result. Other than that, it is good to use. So at this stage, the sharpened washer is giving the best results. There you have it. Yes, a shop-bought marking gauge won't break the bank, but these 3 were easy to make and a lot of fun. Let me know if you have some ideas on how to make other marking gauges. Thanks for watching.